This week, we celebrate 30 years of the Charter Schools program, 30 years of innovation, opportunity, and excellence. Across the country, charter schools are expanding what's possible in education, empowering families with choices, inspiring students to reach higher, and building communities grounded in opportunity and achievement. The U.S. Department of Education concludes its series celebrating National Charter Schools Week and 30 years of impact of the Charter Schools program with special remarks and an exciting announcement from U.S. Secretary of Education Linda McMahon.
Thank you to everyone who joined us in celebrating National Charter Schools Week. It's been an exciting week highlighting the vision, innovation, and dedication of exceptional charter school programs across the country. The Trump administration is focused on expanding education choice for American families. The department's charter schools program plays a critical role in providing learning options to students. From new school developers and charter management organizations to facility support partners and state leaders, each story we've shared this week reflects the extraordinary power of education choice to expand excellence and opportunity. As we close this celebration and look forward to the year ahead, I'm excited to share that the Trump administration budget for education would increase the program by $60 million. In addition, the department is launching new model development and dissemination grants for charter schools. Through this program, the department will showcase bold strategies and innovative education models from charter schools. We will particularly focus on those that emphasize classical education, civics, STEM programs, and career-focused education. We're excited to see the innovation that will emerge from this new program. For more information about this exciting grant opportunity and everything else the Charter Schools program has to offer, please visit us at ed.gov. Thank you for your commitment to empowering students, families, and communities with high-quality charter schools. Together, we are shaping the future of education, one student, one school, and one community at a time.
Across the country, charter schools are bringing innovation to life in bold and inspiring ways. Join us in Washington, D.C., where Friendship Public Charter School is preparing students for real-world success through career and technical education programs in fields like biomedicine, engineering, and agriculture. These cutting-edge programs are turning the vision for the CSP and charter schools into a powerful reality, opening doors and transforming futures for thousands of students.
We're here in the nation's capital with one of our newest CMO grantees, Friendship Public Charter School, where students are preparing for bright futures through innovative career and technical education programs in fields like biomedicine, engineering, and agriculture. We are pleased to spotlight Patricia Brantley, CEO of Friendship Public Charter School, to share more about their work.
At Friendship Public Charter School, our mission is to ensure that students are prepared as ethical, literate learners who are ready to contribute actively to their communities. We ensure that they can achieve high academic standards as they move forward from preschool to elementary to middle and high school. Friendship Public Charter School is driven by a vision for our students. Today, we are 15 campuses. We have over 4,300 students, and we are in preschool, elementary, middle, and high school right here in Washington, D.C. We think about our mission as a living embodiment of the work that we hope to do to make sure children are on the right path. And for us, that means ensuring that they are ethical, literate learners who achieve high academic standards and are ready to contribute actively to their communities. I always say investment in our children is an investment that you can always count on. With this grant, we will replicate our high-performing Collegiate Academy High School at a new site. But this isn't just about replicating what we've done in the past or even in the present. It's about refining. And so we are going to take our award-winning dual enrollment, advanced placement, career and technology education, and we're just going to build on top of it with a new site that will have a state-of-the-art workplace so that students know what is it like to work in the world today, where you may have remote and collaboration spaces. What is it like to use AI to design for the future? And so we're really excited about what we're able to do with this investment. When you look through our high school programs, what you're seeing is starting in the 9th grade and going through to 12th, our students have access to the best teachers that are teaching them both the academic content that one would expect in a comprehensive high school: English, math, science, social studies, all of those things, along with arts, physical education. But what we infuse on top of it is dual enrollment in courses that go from engineering to urban ecology or urban farming to the health sciences to coding. Those experiences are capped off with apprenticeships, interns, the ability to go out and present. And so we look at our CTE courses, our academy courses, our work in high school as really preparing students for their next step. CTE is the investment that keeps on giving. Our return on investment for our CTE programs has yielded 95 to 100% of our students in any given year having access to work-based learning, apprenticeships, 100% college acceptance. For this high school alone that we're in, which is Friendship Tech Prep, $20 million in college scholarships just this year. We're charter schools. Innovation is in our DNA. And so we are so excited to think about innovation. Innovation is about solving the world's problems. Sometimes it's about solving problems that we didn't even anticipate. When we were founded, charter schools were an idea, but not yet an idea whose time had come. We know now, 30 years later, we're not just the new innovation. We are part of the fabric of public education. One of the reasons that we're really excited about Charter Schools Week, and for me personally, is that I chair the Charter School Alliance in DC, and I know how important it is to have a robust set of options for parents and families. So when I think about priorities right now, I'm excited about the potential expansion of charter schools in DC and across the country. I'm excited about a focus on AI in education and what we can do there. I'm excited about charter facilities getting the investments that they need. And so we welcome all the opportunities to show how we can deliver the best charter schools with the best resources for our children. Because charters are so closely partnered with parents, we understand what they want, we understand what their children need, and we're able to deliver against that need. Next week, we will graduate students from 2 high schools, and when those students walk across the stage, they will proudly be able to say it's their charter school education that made them ready for the future.
Let's conclude our series by traveling to Idaho, where leaders are advancing bold strategies to expand educational opportunity across the state. Bloom's work in Idaho demonstrates how charter schools can be a vital part of a thriving choice ecosystem that lifts all students.
We close out National Charter School Week by spotlighting the power of vision and leadership in advancing school choice. Today, I'm joined by Terry Ryan, CEO of Bloom, a nonprofit charter school support organization based in Idaho. Bloom has been a pivotal partner in advancing education choice in Idaho, particularly in rural and underserved communities. Through strategic use of CSP funding through not 1, but 2 of our grant programs, Bloom has facilitated the launch and expansion of numerous charter schools, creating thousands of seats for students across the state. Terry, thank you for joining us to discuss how Bloom's work aligns with our shared vision for empowering families through education choice.
It's an honor and a privilege to be with you today. Thank you for the invite.
Can you share Bloom's mission and how you strive to expand high-quality education options in Idaho?
Sure. So Bloom was set up, the J.A. and Catherine Albertson's Family Foundation. It's a very well-regarded Idaho nonprofit funder. Recruited me to come, and basically they wanted to create new school choices across the state of Idaho. Idaho is one of the fastest growing states in the country, and they saw an opportunity, hey, in this growth, maybe we can inject some innovation and do some things differently, which they, and actually many others in Idaho, wanted to see happen. So the idea was 20,000 new seats in 10 years, and that was in 2013. No one ever thought we'd get close to 20,000 seats. It just was a nice phrase, 20 and 10. We've gotten close to 20,000 seats in 10 years. And quite frankly, without the CSP grant, I don't think we'd have gotten nearly as close as we are. But that's kind of the backstory of how we got there.
How has CSP funding enabled Bloom to support the growth of charter schools in Idaho, particularly in rural areas?
Albertsons Family Foundation help us leverage the CSP funding. But with that came a lot of goodwill and a lot of opportunities in districts who were like, well, okay, this is starting to become something that the U.S. Department of Education is involved in, philanthropy is involved in. We had donated land, we've had donated facilities. So it's become something of like a movement in our state. And the only way you can really get this work done is to have a lot of really good partners and collaborative work. The rural stuff is hard. Oftentimes you'll find a really talented individual or maybe a couple individuals. They want to do a great school. They're capable of doing a great school. We've been working hard to try and develop some redundancy and supports for our rural school partners and work with districts that really want to do this.
Access to quality facilities is often a challenge for charter schools. How has Bloom addressed this issue to ensure schools have the infrastructure needed to succeed?
Well, it's a tough issue. And so the J.A. and Catherine Albertsons Family Foundation, the same time they recruited me to do the work that I do, they recruited a group out of Washington, D.C., who happens to also be a federal grant recipient called Building Hope. Building Hope is expert at figuring out how to finance facilities. And so in the early days, Building Hope worked with Albertsons to finance facility deals where Building Hope would have 30% of the deal, and then they'd get a lender like Vector Bank to do 70% of the deal. Well, as we've grown and as we've done more, we've gotten more partners to come into this. Probably the most innovative thing we do in Idaho with our charter schools is how we fund charter school facilities, which is quite frankly a partnership of a variety of lenders. So it's a pretty unique Idaho way of doing things. One other thing we got, which was really innovative, we got $3.5 million from the U.S. Department of Education for what is a credit enhancement grant we use for startup costs. So these schools, the pre-development costs are the riskiest things to fund. So we've been able to work with schools to cover pre-development costs using a federal credit enhancement. So we've had the state of Idaho involved in this, we've had philanthropy involved in this, we've had the U.S. Department of Education involved in this, and we have developers who donate land. We've had a guy donate steel to one of his schools, so it's kind of all hands on deck. This is how things get done in Idaho.
What lessons learned could you share with others who are starting to enter this space?
Well, first you need good schools. You need schools that deliver results. All of this is easier if you can point to the schools and say, hey, they're doing well. And they're delivering results for the families and the children that they serve. We've also had people who've come through the traditional systems and have taken advantage of the charter school mechanism to open a charter school. And we've had a lot of great support from the U.S. Department of Education, from our legislature, from our governor, from philanthropy, and families have bought into this, and the schools, for the most part, have delivered results.
What challenges has Bloom faced in expanding charter school options, and what lessons have been learned that could inform similar efforts in other states?
I think the advantage that our public charter schools have is that they know what they're about. They know what their mission is. They aren't afraid to talk about what they're about, and they're okay with being different. I think one of the things I'm most proud of in Idaho is we've got a spectrum of schools from more traditional classical academies to Montessori-type schools and everything in between. And it comes down to, do the parents want this choice? Do parents send their children to these schools? If they don't, the money doesn't follow, and then the schools don't work. But for the most part, the schools that we've helped to support have parent demand, and to the point where they're adding new campuses and they're growing.
Can you speak to how charter schools can be innovative in this space?
Well, we've had to get the law changed along the way to allow them to be even more innovative. But things like flexibility around who you can hire as teachers, flexibility around who you can hire as administrators of the school. We've got some outstanding leaders who've come from non-traditional background, military type people. We've got people coming from business. So I think being flexible and the talent, and you want great talent. So we have innovation in who we can recruit, in how they get developed, how they get remunerated, and sort of what the rewards are for being a highly successful either leader or teacher in a particular charter school. So we do things really differently, intentionally. I'm very proud of the fact that some school districts are starting to do similar things now and want these flexibilities for themselves. To me, that's the greatest thing we can do, is show how to do differently and better.
Last month, you published an article in Education Next and mentioned that you've heard parents say they want more choice. We know that lawmakers in Idaho have given parents more choice with the passage of school voucher law that offers parents a $5,000 tax credit for private schools. What impact do you believe this will have on education choice in Idaho? Looking ahead, what are Bloom's plans for continuing to support education innovation and choice in Idaho?
So I support all forms of school choice. And so you're correct. The governor signed a bill, I guess about a month ago, and it's $5,000 a student, up to $50 million. I think it's a good starting point for expanding choice beyond public charter schools in our state. I think there's a lot of work to be done in this space. I think our governor, our legislature, our families are going to demand that there's more choices in Idaho. And, you know, from what we're seeing across the country, the results speak for themselves. We see better outcomes for students, better outcomes for families. So we're all in on that. I've been in the charter space there for 12 years. And when I started, there were a lot of people who didn't like what we were doing, saw it as a threat. We get bills passed now unanimously. Democrats and Republicans unanimously will support our public charter schools. So it's going to take time for tax credits and education savings accounts and things like that to find their footing in Idaho. But I believe they will, and it'll be a part of the mix of our education landscape. And I think it's a good thing.
We are closing out Charter Schools Week and 30 years of celebrating the CSP program. How are you meeting the moment with the celebration and the kind of reflection of the last 30 years?
Well, I've been involved in public charter schools since 2001. We've made huge progress since then in terms of political support, in terms of the overall growth of the program, and also in terms of the results. Charter schools are delivering results for families across the state, and specifically for some of our neediest families across my state, Idaho, and across the country. Hundreds of great people have been involved in charter schools as leaders, as board members, as teachers, as champions, advocates who, it's been fun to see people whose political careers have kind of paralleled the charter school growth. So I'm excited about where we've been. I'm really excited about where we can go. And we need it in this country. You know, our schools overall, we need to do better by our kids. It's a much more complicated, competitive world. And I think charter schools are an important part to how we can do better by our families and our kids.